Hi, this is your coach, Joe Lucas, and I hope you're doing well this Thursday morning. I want to spend a couple minutes with you today and really just talk about how do you evaluate clients and client relationships. The reality is I find most advisors have no real process. It's sort of like, well, I like some of my clients, I don't like some of my clients. Some are asses, some are high maintenance, some are this, some are that. And anytime you measure relationships other than the economics, which obviously is a precise process, it's going to be subjective. But here's the question: what do you look at, right? And so behind me, which I'm going to move out of the way in a second, is really four letters, which is what I work with my coaching clients on to quantify, again, somewhat subjectively, how their relationships are with their clients. Now, you can do a 1 to 10 scale, and look, for some of you very technical, precision-based advisors, you may even want to go on a 0.5 system. Totally fine. 1 to 10 you could do. I prefer, because I'm a big picture guy, 1 to 5, 5 being great, 1 being not so good, right? 1 should be like, why are we here? And go on. So let me get out of the way and show you what we got. We have 4 letters, LCPL. Now, what do they mean? So the first thing we want to look at, and there's 4 tenets of every client relationship. First one is, do you like them? And I put that number 1 because what I found is a lot of advisors have clients they don't like, who they don't respect, and more importantly, the client doesn't respect them. And we're in these highly dysfunctional client relationships primarily for 2 reasons. Scarcity, i.e., I need the money. Fear, I don't want to have to fire somebody. I don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation, right? 2 reasons why advisors hold on to dysfunctional relationships, quite frankly. And so the first thing is on a scale of 1 to 5, do you like the person? In the test I would use, and this is just me, would you want to go to dinner with them? Would you want to go have a drink with them if that's your deal, right? Would you want to take them to a ball game, play a round of golf with them? Do you like them or do you like them around? Do they respect your staff? So likability to me, number 1, right? Because I'm telling you, in my mind, there's no amount of money that would be worth it to have somebody that is coming in the office and you're like, oh man, this person's coming in, and your stomach, you kind of get that knot, and man, you hope they cancel. Why are we dealing with those people? Again, fear of scarcity, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, coach. Simple word, because I don't want to write small. Coachability. So in other words, do they take your advice? Do they listen to you? Do they allow you to be the advisor? Keyword advisor, i.e. give advice, right? Or are you an order taker? Or do they dictate to you? Or is everything like a debate, right? I don't know if I want to do that. In other words, and look, a lot of us deal with this. There are a lot of people, there's a lot of styles that are uncoachable. And you got to ask yourself, if I like them, but they don't do this, can I really help them? Or for a lot of my clients, am I just overseeing a proverbial train wreck? For example, got a client that spends too much money, got a client that's in too much cash, got a client that doesn't have the right allocation, doesn't want to do certain things. Inevitably, right, that stuff's going to come, and there's going to be a day of reckoning. And if you can't, it's like a doctor-patient. If the doctor goes to the patient and says, you got to lose 50 pounds, stop smoking, stop going to McDonald's, whatever you got to do, right? And the patient, every time you see them, gets fatter and fatter and fatter. At some point, when do you say, you know what, I can't be a party to this madness? And as an advisor, if you have uncoachable clients, you've got to ask yourself that same question, okay? So that's very important. Next, profitability. Now, I put that number 3. And there's a reason why, because if you put it number 1, this diminishes these. These 2 to me are the most important. Because if I have these 2, I may be a little flexible on this one, right? Because, sometimes you'll work with somebody and they're nice people and you really like them and they appreciate what you do. And maybe they're not your an A-level client, but man, they're just salt of the earth and you feel good. And so you could be a little laxer. Now, this number is going to be dependent on your models, right? I've got clients that have $2,000 a year minimums on households, $5,000 minimums on households, $10,000 minimum for households, $20,000 minimum per household. So I'm not going to sit there and say to you, here's the number, okay? But here's what I will say. You need to know what it actually costs you to have a client. hard cost, overhead, platform costs, and he splits, again, if you're in a broker-dealer situation and he splits there, you need to know your math, right? And then you're also allowed to make a profit. We are not operating in a non-profit business. I think a lot of advisors fall into that non-profit scenario. So very important. So these three are really important. The last one, leverage. Now, what do I mean by leverage? What I mean by leverage is, will they refer you? Will they open doors for you, right? And by the way, these are in the order that I view them, right? Likeable, coachable, profitable, leverageable. And the reason why leverageable is last, by the way, is you'll have some clients that they love you to death, and they're like, you like them, they're coachable, you make them money, right? They make you money. They'll never give you a name. They'll never refer you. They'll never bring anybody to your client event. They may even come to your client event. They're just the people that are not wired for it. And I found over the decades that, if they're wired, they're wired. If they're not, they're not. Now, it sure helps if you're putting it out there, right? Keep me in mind, do client events, invite them to bring a guest. It really does help to kind of put it out there, right? But not all your clients are going to be high leverage clients. And you know what? I'm not saying it's okay. It's just reality. This is most important, second most important, third most important, fourth most important. Scale 1 to 5, 5 being great, and grade them out. And some of you say, well, what's passing? It all depends on you. What's most important to you here? But this is the way you want to look at all your client relationships. Again, I know it's subjective. 3 of the 4 are subjective, obviously. The dollars are the dollars. But you got to have a mechanism so that you know when to graduate somebody. When you know to say, you know what, I've got enough households now, and I need to start maybe culling the herd a little bit. You need to have a process or a filter, if you will, to make those determinations. So have a great Thursday today. I know a little long today, but I wanted to share with you something that's really tangible that will make a big difference in your practice today. So go ahead, figure out how to rank your clients, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever floats your boat. Be successful today, and I'll see you again very soon.